Hello there and welcome to the channel. My name is Annie and this is my creative detour. I hope you've all had a wonderful weekend and had a bit of an opportunity to be creative or get out in the sunshine or have some fun in some way. So today I'm just going to jump on and do a bit of a spontaneous video. I've had to work the last 3 days straight, so I thought that I would just do something quick and spontaneous, and it's nice to do that sometimes because everything doesn't have to be planned. But I've been wanting to get some of the things that I have been putting in my favourites journal sorted out before the end of the year, because this is my favourites journal for 25 and 26. So by the end of 26 it's going to be full and I want to have it all organised. So I've been flicking past these 2 pages in this journal now for probably 10 months, something like that, thinking, what am I going to do with this? And I glanced over and saw my scrap pot on my desk. And I thought, I know what I'll do. I will pull out some of my fabric scraps and I'll do a little bit of fabric play on my fabric pages. So I've got no idea how they're going to turn out. It might mean that I get to empty some of the bits and pieces out of this pot, which would be great. And we'll see how the pages turn out. They'll be quite textural, and I'm going to do them double-sided because they go into the journal like this, and then when you turn the page you see both sides. So I'm going to be layering up scraps of fabric on both sides of the page. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet, maybe with a little bit of glue and then some last minute stitching just to hold it in place. So let's see what we come up with today with a bit of fabric play. So as you can see, I have a pink page and I have a green page. Now it's a pale pink and it's like a eucalyptusy sort of green. So the first thing I thought I would do is just pull out scraps and put them on sides that I think that they work. That one works on both, doesn't it? Any that I don't think work or are too bold, I will put to the side. But these are some of the things that I've had in different projects. These are off of the dress that I made on our little journal. I thought that I would just glue down and layer up some bits and pieces of fabric. Oh, that one looks good, doesn't it? It's nice actually seeing a bit of a snapshot of what you've played with. Now you can see that I play with quite a bit of greens, blues and greens, which kind of makes sense because they're my favourite colours, teals and blues and greens. Now we may have to find a few other bits and pieces, but I would like to use as many as possible. We might leave that little one on. All right, it's looking like I have quite a few bits of this one, so let's play with that. And I quite like the little pop of yellow on it, surprisingly, and I don't mind it on there either actually, but let's run with this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to now layer some of these on the page in no particular order, other than I will probably look at the value of it and see if it's heavy or lighter. So I'll probably put some lighter things at the top and we'll snip a few things apart and make sure that we're playing on both sides and maybe making them look a little bit different. And I'm just creating some page bases. I'm not wanting to decorate them or anything. It just means that I can come along and put a focal point or something onto it down the track. The page has got something on it that is interesting. Oh, that one's lovely. Let's load that in. yes, I'm liking that. Actually, let's pop this bigger piece in here. That one, it's a bit heavier, that, so I might need to load that down the bottom. It's a bit chunkier. Let's pull that up, tuck that under there, ground it on that, and a little pop of something lighter just there. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now, let's do the other side, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put a little bit of glue on these so that they stay in position until I run a little bit of stitching on it. Once again, this one's quite heavy weighted fabric, so it's thick. Oh, that's looking nice, isn't it? And maybe just a little piece of this. And we've got some neutral here. Let's tuck the piece of that in. That will just help lighten it up a bit. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I've laid it out like this, but I'm actually just going to do it on one side of the fabric, leave one side blank, because I think I'd like to do a little bit of stamping or something on the other page. But I've laid it out like this so that I do this on the back of that one, but I need to just glue one at a time. Now, what have we got here? We might run that little bit of gold ribbon on there, use it up, and we might pull out some scraps of lace as well and see if we've got some of those. There's a little bit over there, but I will use that bit on there. Actually, that will work, and we'll come to the pink one in a moment. All right, I'm going to use a little bit of glue stick now just to glue these down and hold them in place. So let's start and work backwards. So we'll do this one first. Now, I am going to be stitching this, so I just want it to hold in place. Now we'll put this one down up here, and then that one was on top of it, and then this one. And you can see I'm not gluing the edges, I'm just putting a little bit of glue stick in the middle just so that it holds it. And this one down here with the ribbon underneath it. All those little bits that you snip off and you think, am I ever going to use that? Here we go. Again, we're using some of our scraps. Don't you love it? We can put a little bit of glue there now. And then let's pop this one on here. We might just tuck it just under there. Now, we'll take this one off and turn it over. And we're going to put this one onto here. So I've had a few good days at work. It's nice going to work. It keeps things ticking along and keeps the holiday fund working well. Let's do it that way. I think I had it slightly differently, but now I quite like the idea of this under here as well. Ground it a little bit. I think it's just a little bit long. All right, let's glue that piece down. So I've had a few days at work. I worked the weekend, I think I mentioned on the last video. And my grandson, he had a fabulous birthday and got totally spoiled. And got lots of Lego, actually. He got lots of FIFA Lego, so World Cup Lego. And he also got lots of Minecraft Lego from his friends from school that went to his party, because they obviously all talk about Minecraft when they're at school. My daughter and son-in-law are very good with monitoring the amount of exposure that he has to all of that stuff. but he still enjoys having a little bit of a play and creating different things on it. So we've got a few Lego projects to do, quite a few actually. All right, now I'm going to put that tiny little piece of lace right there, or maybe down the bottom, because it's possible I'll put some sort of focal point on there. It might be nice to have it on the bottom, so let's just put that on down here. And then you can kind of see that some sort of focal point will sit on there. Do I have something on my desk? Oh, let's pull something out of the journal, see if there's something. So, you know, you might layer up some sort of focal point onto it. Then it kind of creates a corner on your page. Okay, so there we go. That's a front and a back on there. And like I said, I want to leave this other page because in the journal I might do something different with that. But because I'm doing stitching on this, I'll just do random stitching from both sides so it catches on both sides. All right, I'm happy with that. Now let's do the pink one. Okay, I've pulled out a few other scraps out of my bigger scrap bag. I have an old fabric bag that I leave some scraps in, so that are too big for my pot. And I've pulled out a few others, and you can see that I've had a bit of a play. I'm just thinking that this needs them switched around so the dark shows a bit better. That's better. And I'm using some old handkerchiefs actually that I got at a charity store. So let's glue that down. You can see that I've just layered up bits and pieces of fabric, and I'll glue those down like I did the other one. Okay, you can see that I have glued down both sides of this one, and it's got a little bit chunky, but it's quite nice. I'll show you up close that I've just layered up a whole lot of scraps that have got a few different colors that go together, but I've changed the values of things as well, and they've got lots of texture. I'm okay about the rough edges and the fraying bits. That'll add a little bit of interest when we put some sort of focal point on it. Now, I'm going to now take these to my sewing machine and run them through the sewing machine. And I'm just going to use, I think I've got white in my sewing machine, so I'm just going to use that. And I'll just put some random stitches around pick up both sides of the page and we'll see how it turns out. I'll be back in a moment. Okay, I'm back from sewing and I've got a few things to share with you, things that I learned and things that you can avoid. So let's have a little look how they turned out. So this was the green one that we did together. You can see that I've got a few things hanging over the edge, and all I did was with a zigzag stitch, I picked up a few positions of things so that each item was at least stitched on once. Now, before I did the stitching, I had a quick flick over to look at what was going on the other side. And I just eyeballed it, but a few times I missed it. So you can see here, I stitched down here to pick up this edge, but when I went on the other side, I just missed this one. So then I had to run another stitch down to catch it. So it doesn't really matter because it's a junk journal. So the more texture, the better. I have left a few little tucky spots, which I quite like. And I've done a mixture of straight stitch and zigzag stitch, but I did mostly zigzag stitch just because it doesn't tend to come undone as easily as a straight stitch. So there's the green one, and here we have the pink one. Now the things that I learned about the pink one is that I had too many heavy, thick layers of upholstery fabric. So I had put some of the heavier fabric down the bottom, but when it was down the bottom on both sides, it was quite thick. So it did tend to get a little bit bunched up. And what it did was it got caught under the foot of the machine because it was a little bit too textured. So I think next time I will be mindful not to layer too many thick layers together. But you can see that, like I said, I've left a few little tuck spots so I can tuck in some little bits and pieces into it if I want to, like some little labels or some little tickets or something. And like I said, I've just done one side because this is going to go into my journal and they won't be seen together. So let's put them in the journal so you can see what I mean. So this one goes in here from memory. So that one's back in its normal place of where I had it. Oh, look at that. Now I didn't take note too much of what was going on the other pages, but I like that this colour is picking up this coloured washi tape here. I really like that. Now let's put the pink one back in where it went. So there we go, that one's back in its spot, and I'm quite liking that one in there as well. And I'm going to be working in this journal off and on over the next few months so that when we get to the end of the year, it's looking nice and chunky and finished. But I've pulled out a few things to show you that you can put a focal point on. So let's have a little bit of a play. You can see that I've got some of my flowers out actually, and a few tags and a few trading coins just to show you how flexible it is. So the flowers would look quite nice in, well, let's try that one actually. Just by gluing on a focal point onto it, it's pretty much done. And you can see that there's a few little tucks here that things can stick into, like tickets and things, which is kind of cute. So there's that on it. Let's try a bird on it. Oh yes, he's cute on it. Actually, we might put him on there. Let's look at the other side. Yes, they're lovely on there, aren't they? Without too much effort. And you can put quite a few different styled things or themed things onto it, and it looks nice. Let's try the moth on here too. Yes. Isn't that great? Just some scraps sewn on, lay it up. Now, which one will we put on? I think I like the bird on here, so let's glue him on and make a decision. Now, I could put a little bit of cheesecloth under that, but I think it's already layered up enough. And it's nice to get a few pages actually finished in my journal. They're all just pinned in at the moment most of the time. Now let's go to the green page and do something with that. I pulled out this stamp to go on here. Doesn't that look lovely on there? I'm thrilled with that actually, because they were looking, I'll show you, I had a stamp in here somewhere, just here, just sitting on the page, and it kind of is lost. It doesn't really have any impact. But now that I put it onto this little fabric cluster here, it stands out and it has a purpose. So let's glue that down. And they're just some faux stamps that I did. Both the trading coins and the faux stamps that I've just glued in are in my Junk Journal Gestures playlist. So I will have that link below for you if you want to see how I made both of those. But isn't that wonderful? And a quick look back at that one. So there we go. There's my quick little project today of using some fabric scraps out of my pot that is looking a little bit emptier, but not very much, because I generated a few more scraps. So I really hope you enjoyed those today. I'm going to call them my fabric scrap page clusters. So if you're looking for them, that's what I'll end up titling my video. And it will go into my Junk Journal Gestures playlist as well. Now, if you enjoyed the video today and liked how spontaneous and playful and scrappy it was, give the video a thumbs up. That would be wonderful. And think about subscribing to the channel. And I hope you all have a fun week, having a little bit of a play in your crafty space. All right, that's all from me today, and I will see you on Saturday with another project. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it. Bye for now.